The sun was just peeking over the horizon. Birds chirped a morning chorus. A cool breeze rustled through the dry California chaparral. It was a perfect morning for a bike ride. Michael pedaled along the perimeter of March Air Reserve Base. He often came here for his morning exercise. The familiar sight of the base's radio tower, a stark silhouette against the rising sun, usually marked his halfway point. Today, however, something was different. As he neared the tower, the ground trembled beneath him. A high-pitched whine pierced the air. Then, with a deafening groan of metal, a large section of earth in front of him gave way. A massive metal container, easily the size of a freight car, rose from the newly formed chasm. It hovered silently a foot above the ground. Michael slammed on his brakes, his heart pounding in his chest. He watched, mesmerized and terrified, as the container hummed and pulsed. Its dull grey metal shimmered in the morning light. A hatch on the side of the container hissed open. A ramp extended to the ground with a mechanical thud. For a moment, everything was still. Then, one by one, hundreds of black spheres, each about the size of a basketball, floated out of the container. They moved with an eerie grace, spreading out in all directions. Michael could only stare in disbelief as they silently disappeared into the distance. He felt a growing sense of dread, a primal fear that this was just the beginning. The radio tower, once a symbol of communication, now stood as a silent sentinel to the unfolding chaos. As the black spheres reached the upper atmosphere, the sky began to crackle with energy. Tendrils of purple and green lightning danced across the horizon. Then, in a flash of blinding light and an ear-splitting roar, the EMP hit. The sky turned black as night. Planes fell from the sky like wounded birds. Cars spun out of control, their engines dead. The world was plunged into chaos. Michael watched in horror as the world around him descended into darkness and silence. He was completely cut off, alone in a world suddenly gone mad. Section 4, Infinity's End. As quickly as it had turned black, the sky began to clear, but the horror was far from over. High above, a new phenomenon unfolded. An enormous symbol, glowing an ethereal blue, materialized in the sky. It was the infinity symbol, its loops stretching across the heavens. The symbol pulsed once, twice, then began to rotate. With each rotation, it picked up speed, the blue light intensifying until it was almost unbearable to look at. Then, with a final ear-splitting crack, the infinity symbol split in two. The two halves, still glowing, plummeted to Earth, disappearing into the ocean on opposite sides of the globe. The impact sent titanic shockwaves across the planet, triggering earthquakes and tsunamis that reshaped coastlines in an instant. Section 5. The Purifiers. From the depths of the ocean, where the two halves of the infinity symbol had vanished, a new horror emerged. Humanoid figures, their bodies covered in chitinous armor, rose from the waves. They moved with an unsettling fluidity, their three-fingered hands clutching trident-like weapons that pulsed with the same eerie blue light as the infinity symbol. These were the Purifiers, and they had come to cleanse the Earth. They moved with terrifying speed and precision. Those they deemed unworthy were swiftly and mercilessly cut down. Only those bearing a strange mark, a glowing blue infinity symbol on the palm of their right hand, were spared. Michael, hiding in the ruins of a collapsed building, watched in terror as the Purifiers moved through the streets. He didn't understand what was happening, why the world had been turned upside down in a matter of hours. Section 6, Prophecy Fulfilled. He remembered an old Hopi woman he'd met on a road trip years ago. She had spoken of a prophecy, passed down through generations. A day when the sky would fall, she had said, and beings from beyond the stars would come to purify the earth. Only those marked by the Creator would be spared. At the time, he had dismissed it as an old wives' tale. Now, as he watched the Purifiers, the memory sent chills down his spine. The prophecy was coming true. He looked down at his own hand. There, in the center of his palm, a faint blue light flickered, the infinity symbol. He was marked, but why? And what did it mean for the future of humanity? Section 7. We are not alone. The chaos on Earth continued for weeks. The Purifiers, relentless in their mission, reshaped the planet according to their unknown agenda. Then, as suddenly as they had arrived, they were gone, vanishing back into the depths of the ocean. The world was left reeling, forever changed. Those who remained, the marked ones, struggled to rebuild amidst the ruins. But the question that haunted them all was, why? Why had this happened? And what would become of them now? The answer, it seemed, lay beyond the stars. For as the survivors looked to the heavens, they saw it. A vast bioluminescent shape, its tentacles reaching towards Earth. An octopus, larger than any creature ever imagined, descended from the void. They were not alone. The prophecy wasn't over, it had just begun.